Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren out there teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there. I'm the brother Dhamma Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Right, and I found this article from Zero Heads titled Digital ID Black Pill Moment. All right. And according to the definition, which I'm going to read of a black pill moment, it's definitely, going to become a reality soon. Because for the majority of these people, especially our people, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, your lack of, taking heed to the prophets and really just being on point with what's really taking place in the real world, because the majority of our people and a lot of these people, in general in America are, not really paying attention to what's happening geopolitically, economically, and ultimately prophetically. A lot of these American people really just want to be blue pilled. All right. Blue pilled. They just want to go on with their life, believing that, believing whatever they want to believe, believing that, Santa Claus is real, the Easter Bunny lays eggs, just go on basically being, lied to and just believing that the world is, their oyster and just believing, that things are just going to continue the way that they are. They don't really want to come to the conclusion or have to accept that America is through. And these elites are getting ready to bring in this new world order where digital IDs, mandatory microchipping, 15-minute city social credit scores, you will own nothing and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. And ultimately, becoming a digital slave in this system is a reality. They just want to believe that, things are going to be the way they are. They'll have their constitutional rights, celebrate the 4th of July and, sit down at Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas. And, the world just goes on as they've been, blindly led to believe. But really, there's a black pill moment getting ready to slap everybody in the face, especially 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because ultimately, you just refuse to, take heed into the prophets and into what Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has going on in this world. And I want to show you this, right? So it says, what is a black pill moment? It says, for those unclear on what a black pill moment means, I'll share my take on the definition. It says here, a black pill moment is when someone grasps a harsh, pessimistic truth about the world, leading to despair or hopelessness if they let it sink in. It's a grim realization that things may be beyond repair, hitting like a gut punch. You see, and that's what a lot of our people are getting ready to come to the reality of, the world as you see it is fake. It's veneers. It's wool that's been pulled over your eyes, and that the grim reality is that, like I said, these elites are getting ready to, crash this current system as we know it. This is why you're seeing the squeeze getting put on the average American person. The cost of living. You see EBT and SNAP benefits, welfare getting cut for those that are dependent on it. You see a lot of it's hard to get jobs. The job market is horrible. You see inflation, hyperinflation. The cost of beef is fucking astronomical. A lot of people, are underwater on their mortgage. A lot of people with car loan payments are very far behind. You see massive repossessions. You see the cost to buy a house is no longer affordable or out of reach for the average everyday American citizen. Things are just taking a turn for the worse. But the average person doesn't realize that this is all being orchestrated. It's a orchestrated or controlled demolition of the American economy and this American system as we know it. You see, but when we're out there on the highways and the byways and telling our people these things and telling them to giving them warning and telling mainly you Israelites, your only hope and protection and salvation through all of this is in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, but they don't want to hear that because they want to continue to believe the lie. They want to to continue to believe that America is going to be made great again, and all of this shit that's happening can be sorted out. And if we protest and if we march and if we, we can vote our way out of all of this confusion and corruptness and the falling of this, American empire. But that's just not the reality of it, man. And what they fail to realize is that, hey, these elites are moving forward with their new world order, man. So this is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It says, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you." Right, meaning for those of us who are in this truth, those of us who know what's going on. We don't have to be told what's really happening, because we see it, taking place. We see it prophetically. We see it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, who has given us the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So, when we speak about these things and when we hear about what these elites are ultimately doing, it's not news to us. We can see it as clear as day. We know what the agenda of these elites ultimately are. You see, it says, "For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." And we know that Yahweh Shai is making his grand return. We can see by all the signs, the uproars of the people, the wars and rumors of wars. We can see, how these devils are, doing particular things that's ultimately leading to the downfall of Esau Edom, the downfall of this age. And it's ushering in the return of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. So that's why we're constantly watching. We're constantly, getting our houses in order and making sure that we're doing what we need to do, in the sight of the Most High. So when, all is said and done, we're going to be found blameless and be delivered and saved and be in the right spirit to make the right decisions when this devil brings this MOTB, and when he brings, this mark of the beast and brings in this new digital system. We ultimately know what it all entails at the end of the day. We know that it's one huge test. You see, it says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You see, and that's what Esau's doing with this new digital system, And we've been telling you. Oh, matter of fact, I was going to do a lesson, Lord willing, I'll do it. You saw the other day how that whole Amazon, how that it was like a huge outage of all these different services, Amazon Plus, Disney, it was a huge so-called cyber attack or whatever it was. And it's just showing you that, the fragility of this whole society and its systems, And remember, Klaus Schwab said there's going to be catastrophic scenarios, catastrophic cyber attacks. See, these things are all, are going to be used in order to bring the order from out of the chaos. And these devils are going to eventually let all hell break loose in this society. And they're going to come with a solution to it all, which is going to be this new digital beast system that they're going to present as peace and safety and as a way to get things back to normal, to get things back online, And people are going to, trust in it and believe in it. And then, they're going to be trapped into this new digital slave system, this beast system that these devils are getting ready to force upon everybody. You see, it says, "But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation." You see, so this is why ultimately this is not going to be a black pill moment for us, seeing what these devils are doing, because we're not in the darkness. We're not asleep. We understand what the hell is going on. It says in the 1999 movie The Matrix, Neo is offered a red or a blue pill by Morpheus. The red pill means waking up to the harsh truth of reality, rejecting illusions, while the blue pill means staying in comfortable ignorance, unaware of the truth. You see, and that's what the majority of our people. That's why I read that Thessalonians. We are not asleep. We are children of the light. We understand what's ultimately happening and what these devils are trying to do. But like I said, a lot of our people, they want to remain in that blue pill state of mind. They just want to be ignorant. They want to be, led to believe whatever they want to believe. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear this. We don't want to hear no conspiracy theories. We just want to live life, and we don't want to hear all of this negative. All you talk about is negative. All you talk about is this and that. I don't want to hear that shit because they ultimately just want to be, blissfully ignorant. But hey, at the end of the day, that black pill moment is going to come up on these people, man, when they finally going to come to the realization that everything that we've been telling them and warning them about is true. And that's when, a lot of these people are going to self-delete. They're going to go completely out of their minds. And ultimately, a lot of them are going to, make a choice that's going to ultimately get them destroyed or enslaved in this new digital beast system. And the blood's going to be off of our hands, right? It says, after reading editorials about Texas mandated digital ID for apps, supposedly to protect children, I researched how many states and countries have mandatory or voluntary digital ID systems. And one thing you're going to find out in this article, like we've been telling you, the whole goddamn world is already pretty much prepped and primed to bring in these digital IDs, which we know is going to lead to the CBDCs, which is going to eventually lead to the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the implantable RFID microchip. All right. These devils already has this system created. It's already, in place. They just need the right situation to bring it, man. All these countries and all these different places, they're all on board. They're all being prepped and primed for this shit, man. You see, this is why we tell you it's called let me get it. Well, no, let me not jump the gun. It says, I have researched how many states and countries have mandatory or voluntary digital ID systems. Voluntary is the Trojan horse for future mandatory. You see, they just told you that in the UK with Strummer. In order for you to work in the UK, you must have a digital ID. It's as simple as that. And all of these different countries and states are all, moving their governments and systems towards this very thing. It says, what I found opened my eyes to what could be labeled a black pill moment. The global push for digital IDs is far advanced, likely past the point of no return, you see? And these devils are not, they're not turning back. They're going forward with it because ultimately it's prophecy. Ultimately, these things must come to pass. And if you are, living in la la land and you want to believe, it'll never happen. It'll take too much time. They don't have that much time. You're sadly mistaken, man. Like he said, it's already far advanced. These devils have been working and slowly putting these systems in place. It says, likely past the point of no return, aligning with the UN's 2030 goal of universal legal identity and enabling a globalist digital currency system that could control access to everything. And what is that eventually going to be? The MOTB, man. Remember, they have to bring in these digital IDs first, then they can bring in the CBDCs, then they can bring in the MOTB. And it's not going to be optional. It's not going to be, you can opt out. You're going to be able to get an exemption from it. Because like we say, hey, once this system is in place, it's either you're in or you're out. Either you're going to acquiesce to this system or you're going to die. You're going to be separated. You're going to be starved out. You're going to not be able to function within society without having these digital IDs and eventually the MOTB. You see, it's all a trap. It's all a snare for your soul, man. And it's going to lead to what? To the hour of temptation. No, where is it? Yep, this is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. You see? And how are we going to be kept from the hour of temptation? Because we ultimately understand what it truly is in its truest form. It's all the lead up to the MOTB, to the mark of the beast. This man basically trying to set up a system to where you're going to have to bow down and accept it. And he's going to be your God and your ruler through technology. You see? And we know the judgment if you take this MOTB, read Revelation the 14th chapter, to the dooms of the worshipers of the beast. You see, but the Lord said he's going to keep us, his elect, from this hour of temptation. First and foremost, because we fully understand what the end game of it all is all about. We know it's not for peace and safety and to make things more convenient and to save the earth and to, this whole sustainable goal to, forward, it's all that bullshit. We know it's ultimately, the ultimate test from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And we see this system being put in place right now. And like I said, this whole digital ID is the total precursor to the MOTB. You see, they can't go forward with this new world order agenda until these digital IDs are permanently in place within the system, because it gives them more and more control. You see, it says here, it says the goal of universal legal identity and enabling a globalist digital currency system that could control access to everything. You see, and that's what it's ultimately all about. Giving them control over everything, of every aspect of your life. This is why it tells you cannot buy and sell, save he that have the mark. You see, you're going to have to willingly bow down and accept this man's system in order to operate, in order to be a member of society, to board a train, to get an airplane ticket, to have a job, to have an apartment, to go to the grocery store, to eat, to transact, to do everything. You see. And it's going to say here, in September 2015, see, going all the way back to 15, all 193 UN member states adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And what was tucked and hidden within that was this whole digital identity bullshit, and eventually the MOTB system. You see, Sustainable Development Goal SDG 16.9 aims to provide legal identity, including birth registration, for everyone by 2030. You see, this is why you just had Bill Gates of hell saying that they want to microchip babies soon as they come out of the womb, man. And once they get this digital ID system in place, and everybody has to do it in order to get a job, in order to function, in order to participate in society, them being able to microchip babies is going to be already stamped within the agenda. You see? So it's a very cunning and very clever thing this devil is doing. This is why you got to be continuously watching and not be asleep, man. Not be in the dark. You see? It says this goal supports a global push for universal digital identity. The World Bank's Identification for Development initiative, a key partner, consolidates civil registries and promotes digital ID services. You see, so in the future, if you want a bank account, if you want to receive food stamps, whatever they might call it in the future, food stamps, snaps, EBT, government assistance, housing, file your taxes, do anything, you're gonna have to be linked up with this new world order system. You see, it all works hand in hand. It's a lot here for the damn leaf blower guy. It says, a key partner consolidates civil registrates and promotes digital ID services. ID 2020, tasked with implementing the social developmental thing, works to ensure everyone has a digital identity by 2030. You see, everyone. What are there? 8 billion people on the planet. They, if they have it their way, all 8 billion people, and those and counting those that are born in the future, before they're even as soon as they come out of the womb, they're going to be instantly integrated into this new digital beast system with their digital IDs, biometrics, facial recognition, iris scans, thumbprints, blood type, everything about you. Is going to have to be on this digital system, man. You're going to have to identify yourself for every single goddamn thing that you do. You want to get on the internet, you're going to have to be biometrically identified through this system. You see? It says the World Bank, World Economic Forum, and companies like Palantir have created a global partnership to build a unified digital identity system. You see? They're all in cahoots with building this new Mark of the Beast system. And when you think of Palantir, first thing you should think of is the Trump administration, because who did he was going to say? It says currently there are approximately 8.3 billion people in the world. According to the World Bank ID4D initiative, the number of actual people without any official proof of identity is only about 850 million. Only 10% of the world's population do not have a personal digital ID. Well, and how are they going to change that? Because if you don't have it in the future, you won't be able to participate in society. It says, based on the latest global reports, only 12 countries out of the 198 worldwide still lack any foundational national ID system, such as electronic credentials, biometric verification, or programs that could eventually link to the World Bank ID4D framework for universal legal identity. In stark contrast, 186 countries already have at least basic digital ID elements in place. You see that? So out of the 198, 186 already have this system already in place on some level. And it's only going to go forward. It's only going to accelerate. It's only going to get to the point to where this is going to be the basis of you participating in society, man. And you better believe America is on that pace. It says, I began my research, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to read all this shit because he basically says how, it took him a long time to search it, but then he went on Gronk, and Gronk confirmed relentless global march towards total coverage, revealing that 186 countries out of the 198 have digital systems already in place, man. So it's only going to go forward, man. You see? And like I said, you got a lot of people who are just hoping and praying that this is just not going to become a reality, but it is. This is why it's going to be a black pill moment for a lot of these people. Then it says North Korea is one of the holdouts because they have their own internal digital tracking system, which, they could easily be converted. At the end of the day, it don't matter. Even these little countries here that have not set up digital IDs that can be linked to the digital ID World Bank system in the future are Somalia, South Sudan, Central Africa Republic, Yemen, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Chad, Eritrea, Tuvalu, Nauru, and Oceania. According to the World Bank ID4D website, adoption is accelerating and they expect this link to shrink. Yeah, because ultimately they're going to force these little countries that don't have this infrastructure there. They're going to get it eventually. And if they don't want to take it, guess what? They're going to take it by tank or by sword or by gun or by threatening of being bombed to hell and back, man, at the end of the day. Here's the main point. But what about the United States? Land of the free and home of the slave? Are we protected against the digital ID world beast system? In 3 of my prior Burning Platform guest opinion, I cover in more detail the very same globalist technocrats who are developing and implementing digital ID systems and AI data banks in the United States are also developing digital ID systems and AI data banks around the world. Built into all these massive data collection systems is interoperability to eventually connect the World Bank Beast Tracking ID system. What does it say here? Peter Thiel's company, Palantir, is among the technology companies involved with digital ID initiative linked to international development efforts, including those supported by the World Bank and aligned with the UN SDG, blah, blah, blah. Peter Thiel is a technology advisor to President Trump. So the same guy that's creating Palantir, that's creating these systems, is in the Trump's presidency. So what does that tell you about America? You don't think America is on board with this whole fucking system? Absolutely, man. You see, look at this. The digital news to track, trace, and database every citizen of the United States is accelerating with breakneck speed. And Trump put all these same devils that are creating these systems in his cabinet, in his presidency. So what does that tell you about Babylon the Great America, man? It's going to come here, too. But the only difference is these elites know here in America, when they force this shit, people here in America are going to riot, These American people have been too comfortable having their freedoms and, having the freedom to travel, to basically side hustle, do whatever they want to do, to have financial and so many freedoms that, hey, when they start to really put the squeeze on these American people and lock down and start forcing them to take digital IDs or lose their job, they know these American people are going to eventually riot, man. And all these American citizens have guns. It's going to lead to Second Ezra, 15 and 16. It's going to lead to more uprisings. It's going to lead to more, chaos and violence. This is why, Trump is already putting the National Guard and putting these different military boots on the ground here in America, because they know eventually they're going to be fully needed when they try to ultimately force these American people into this beast system. It's going to get ugly here. But at the end of the day, this is still going to be their agenda. You see? It says another illustration of the close connections between U.S. systems and global ID initiative is Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI and a key AI advisor to President Trump. Altman has called for international partnerships on AI regulation, proposing a global body comparable to the International Atomic Energy Agency. This aligns with Agenda 2030 Goal 17, which emphasizes global partnerships. See, so everybody's in his cabinet, everybody that's in positions of power are all on board with this Agenda 2030. Each person is specialized in their own field to operate to bring this shit to pass. It says, why should the system that is supposed to protect our country be regulated by an international organization, as Altman suggests? In 2023, Sam Altman started WorldCoin to give people a digital ID by scanning their eyes, man. You see, so Altman, Peter Thiel, and all these other, tech geeks, these tech oligarchs that Trump has in his administration, all have the same goal and same plan, as these elites, man. You see? What is this? It says, even though the United States does not have a national identity card, we have state issued driver licenses, which are quickly being transferred to biometric digital IDs. You see? Biometric enabled driver licenses, also known as mobile driver licenses, where biometrics such as facial recognition or fingerprint scanning are used for secure access and authentication on mobile devices. You see, even if all 50 states do not go biometric on their licenses, multiple systems of womb to tomb data collection on every citizen are in the works through several of President Trump's initiatives. One of those is an electronic health tracking system called Making Health Technology Great Again. And then you have that jerk off RFK Jr., whatever the hell his name was, saying that the health sector needs to give everybody apps. Everybody rings and wearables and all this other bullshit. It's all leading towards the same end game at the end of the day. See, this is why you can't be asleep. This is why you can't be not knowing what the hell is going on. Everything that they're doing, is all leading towards the same goal at the end of the day. It says, making health technology great again. Apple, Google, Samsung, Amazon, OpenAI, Anthropic, Epic, Oracle, Athena Health, and Noom are a few of the big tech companies that will be involved in setting up a centralized national health record database in the United States. You see? So eventually what? It's going to be like this on every level. If you want to go to the hospital, if you're sick, if you need surgery, if you have a heart attack and you need to go to the hospital, pretty soon, if you don't have your biometrics uploaded into the system, services are going to be denied. And it's going to be the same like this. If you want to drive, the transportation, banking, if you want a bank account, if you want to get a driver's license, eventually they're going to tell you, well, we need your biometrics now. All right. In order for you to even have access to get these privileges that we're handing unto you, man. And what do you think the average person is going to do? Eventually they're going to comply. Eventually, they might bitch, they might moan, they might try to find some type of exemption. They might even probably protest. But eventually, once these devils are standing firm on saying that this is your only entry and access into these services, a lot of people are just going to eventually acquiesce, man. You see, it says, again, making health technology great again will make medical record sharing possible nationwide. If leadership changes in the future, this very system can be linked to the World Bank digital IDB system. See? So this is where everything is headed. And we've been telling you, Jakes, this over and over and over again, man. And it's not going to stop. It says in Revelations 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And we know this image is dealing with the ancient Roman Empire. But now fast forward into this modern day Roman Empire, the beast is speaking. And now it's this beast is going to speak through this technology, through these different, digital ID, this beast system that they're implementing. And it says what? And those that would not worship should be killed, meaning that eventually, if you're not giving up your biometrics, if you're not, entering into this system the way that they want you to, you're going to be killed. We bring this out all the time. The word for killed is apoktino. It says to kill in any way, whatever. Now, it could be, killed physically, or it can be killed spiritually. But we're going to go to the root of the word apoktino, and the word is apo. It says, of any kind of separation of one thing from another by which the union or fellowship of the two is destroyed, of a state of separation, that is of distance, physical, of distance, of place. See, meaning what? Eventually, if you don't, give up your biometrics and enter into this new technological beast system, how they're implementing it, you'll be separated. Like I said, if you don't have, you won't be able to go to the hospital if you're sick or get a surgery. You try to go to the doctor and you don't have your biometrics and they can't identify you on their digital thing, and you show up with your physical card ID, they're going to be like, well, we don't take those anymore. Honestly, sir, we can't use that to verify you as who you say you are. It could be fake. It could be, it can't be authenticated. We're only going to authenticate you through your biometrics, through your eye scan, through your fingerprint, through, through this system. The same with trying to get a driver's license. So you're going to be killed. You're going to be separated from society. See how this little cute little Judah right here is this is how you're going to have to verify yourself in the future. They're going to have to be able to read your face or your biometric scans to identify that that's you. And it's going to be like that for every aspect of society. Like I said, if you want to go to the grocery store, you better believe you're going to have to be identified via, one of these different ways, either through your iris, through your face scan, through a fingerprint, and eventually through your micro C-hip, all right, which will be subdermally implanted in your ass, all right? And it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, you see? So eventually those digital IDs are going to lead to the MOTB, the physical, through the charagma, through that mark, you see? And this is where everything is headed, and we've been telling you, man, and like I said, this system is already far, it's already, it ain't going nowhere. This is where things are headed at the end of the day. And you're going to have to willingly worship this new technology and this new system if you want to function in this man's society, man. And it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. So no matter who the hell you are and what your status is on this whole planet Earth. All right. If you want to live and function and operate within the so-called white man's new system, you're going to have to receive his mark. You're going to have to willingly take it, bow down, worship it, and come up under everything that, it demands of you, pretty much. To receive a mark, and we know that word mark is charagma, which is the thing inserted, that micro C-hip, and their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark, or the number of the beast, or the number of his name. You see? And it's all leading to this new beast system that they're implementing, man, via these digital IDs, which is going to lead to them basically being able to have complete and total control over everything that you absolutely do in this world, man. And this is why, the digital ID is the black pill movement. And it's going to be like that for a lot of the people that are unaware, that are ignorant, that are sleeping, and that don't know, what this man's agenda truly is at the end of the day, man. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you were edified. To the next one, Shalom.